Good evening, everyone. You have definitely noticed that I am sitting here in candlelight. There's a very good reason for that. When someone is sick or ailing, you say a prayer for them, light a candle for them, a symbol for the light within them that's supposed to get brighter and burn on. Well, I light this candle in remembrance of the 2020. The game today against the Chargers. Terrible. Terrible. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't move the ball. First score was a safety, a screw up on the Chargers' part. And two field goals after that. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? 8 points. 8. 8. If all you scored was 8 points, you didn't even peach the bitch, did you? Man, I thought I had seen terrible performances by the Saints before, but yeah, this one ranks up there. And here's why. Of course, our offense has no punch, no juice, no nothing. Oh, that hurt so bad. Let me have a swig of Captain Morgan. And yes, I'm making sure that I keep this liquor far, far away from those candles. I don't want to go up in flames, and I especially don't need all this long, luxurious white braids to go up in flames either. Anyway, we talk about going up in flames, Saint season's. And there are those of you out there that will say, "Oh, Spencer Rattler was terrible." Spencer Rattler is a rookie. Good grief, he makes rookie mistakes. Jake Hayner is not much better. Oh, Jake Hayner would be better because he's got a year here already. Yes, he might have a year here already, but there was a new offense installed, and Jake Hayner was learning it just like everyone else is. So, what makes him better? I'm a little pissed at the Saints about this, about benching Rattler the way that they did. Yeah, maybe he should have been sat. Yes, maybe we needed to do something different. But the truth of the matter is, why would you put that young man out there, rookie, behind this sieve of an offensive line and expect him to be freaking Joe Montana? How in the hell could you put Jake Hayner behind that sieve of an offensive line and expect him to be Joe Montana? How in the hell could you put Derek Carr behind that sieve of an offensive line and expect him to be Joe Montana? That only works in fantasy land. And this is not fantasy land, it's the NFL. Our next game. I don't know what I did with my schedule and it's dark in here, and I really don't want to look for it because I'm loving the and the effect. Oh, that light might pop back on. Just letting you know. If it does, it's the ghost. Oh, Carolina next week. If I'm not mistaken, there's a young fellow by the name of Chuba Hubbard. If I am mistaken, please let me know in the comments. But runners, gash the Saints. If you've been having a bad season at your position, all you got to do is play the Saints. You'll get right. They'll help you. I don't remember feeling this bad. What's the most recent year I felt bad with this team? I think that was 2012. Yes, when Peyton got suspended behind the Bounty Gate bullshit. And we had the strongest Saints team ever in 2011, with much of that team returning into it. But the mastermind wasn't there to guide the monster. And we got 7-9 season. I did revise my season predictions. I revised them down from 8-9 to 6-11, and I must tell you, I must tell you how that hurts my black and gold. Y'all know I love this team. You know I love this team. But I can tell the truth about this team too. And telling the truth about this team tells me that they ain't going nowhere but before it's all over with, Carolina might end up with a better record than we do. We are so disjointed. Seems like so disorganized. Not playing complementary football. Not being situationally aware. I don't understand. But I see that there's some serious dysfunction going on with this team. And there's been some dysfunction going on for a number of years, which is something that I recognized during the 22 season, Dennis Allen's first season. When Sean Payton left here, he left a quality roster that Dennis Allen hasn't been able to do a damn thing with. While it's true that in 21, Sean Payton's last year, they ended up 9-8 and out of the playoffs. Injuries, significant injuries to starters, Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas among them, limited our ability and opportunities to win. And people will say, oh, talk about injuries this time. Yes, we have been bitten really bad by the injury bug. But the reason why you have a 53-man roster is that so if one of your starters go down, you got somebody behind him that's capable of holding down the fort until he gets back. But like I said before, when I was examining the Saints depth chart, that is not the case in New Orleans. And while we're picking Clint Kubiak apart, me, one of them, because you cannot be judged a genius if you have to have everything perfect for your genius to shine. If you're that level of genius, you can make work whatever you got to work with. Hell, just like MacGyver. Clint, you're disappointing me. You're disappointing me. First game of the season, we blew Carolina out. We have Carolina next week. Many Saints fans, and I know they are because I've already heard them, are hoping that Bryce Young plays. But if I was Carolina's coach, even if Bryce Young is healthy, raring, and ready, I would play Dalton just to beat the Saints. I was encouraged to get into this podcast game by other podcasters on whose platforms I had come on. I wish I had started this many, 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 many years earlier, around about 2005, 2006. But of course, I this platform was not available to anyone back then. I would have had a whole lot to say about the Saints. But now, what do I have to say? What do I really say? What is there to say? Mickey Loomis, I think I'm most angry with you, and here's why. You, as the general manager, are responsible for procuring talent for this team. Underneath you is the scouting department, which is supposed to help you in this regard. You can't live on that 2017 draft forever. You can't. And that is Jeff Ireland's only claim to fame. And he ain't done very much since. Oh, okay. They have drafted some players. Trey Hendrickson. But guess what? The Saints did not retain him, and he went to Cincinnati and started ripping up the place. It's common for players who the Saints failed to retain to go elsewhere and star. That's on the general manager. All day, every day. When we talk about the general manager procuring talent for the team, that talent also includes a head coach, Mickey Loomis. And Dennis Allen is never, ever going to make you right. Hasn't this 6-game slide showed you that? Or are you too stubborn and too committed? Idea that you are right. To see. I'm a Saints fan. Cha-ching! Y'all remember that? I do. Back then, I wasn't able to afford to go to games, but when I was able to afford to go to games, I went. And to tell you the honest to goodness truth, I've seen more Saints games in Texas than I have in Louisiana. But after the debacle of 22, when I saw the flawed decision making of Dennis Allen on display, I noped. I said, I am not spending another single penny to go to another single game as long as he remains there. And it wouldn't surprise me if Mickey, in his commitment to his own rightness, retains him here after this season. Yes, I'm burning candles. I'm burning candles for the death of the 2020. In a 16-game season, 8 games is halfway. In a 17-game season, 8 games and half of the ninth game. Truly, halfway the season. If you're less than 60% halfway through the season, you have no chance of seeing anything but your locker as you empty it on the last day, the last game. your season? I remember back in the 70s and the 80s where the Saints were awful, terrible, bad. And you kind of just got used to it. Say, oh, well, it's the Saints. They ain't do anything they ain't never going to do. But you had hope every year. And then some of those years when they would tear off, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, you had real hope. But then you came crashing down to earth and they lose 6 of their last 9. But at least they gave us something to be excited about for a minute. Right now, what do we got to be excited about? What? What? Used to be the Saints could hang their hats on the top 5 defense in the league. Used to be. Now, a defensive coordinator that I called elite weeks ago is leading the 32nd ranked defense in the league. Oh, yes. They'll say that Dennis Allen is not the defensive coordinator. Joe Woods is. And Joe Woods will be the sacrificial lamb for the one that most needs to go again. This year, I had an opportunity to get Saints season tickets. Had the money to do it too. But I declined to do it because something in me said, don't waste your money on this loser product. Best advice I ever got. Thank yourself. How many more of y'all out there feel just like me? I know. I know. It's thousands of you. Thousands. I would cry. But why? Why mess up my nice little makeup? Yeah, the candles are throwing shadows under my eyes, but I don't give a fuck. I'm mad. I'm hurt. Sorry for cussing you. I have a question, people. Why is it that people are so reluctant to hit the like button on videos they watch? I always do. Make sure that I appreciate the person who made the content. I won't beg you to. I wish you would. Just like I wish the Saints would fire Dennis Allen, but he ain't going nowhere. We had 16 wonderful, hopeful years. Saints fans. There are too many in the Saints organization that are doing their damnedest not. Let it go. Build anew. Please.